Hi, I'm Kat, and today, as a special thank you for your continuous support and for helping me reach 1000 subscribers, we are doing a different kind of video. And today I will be answering all of your questions. Hey, get to know me. Okay, I'm quite excited for this. Right, before we get started though, I just want to carry on, doing the same thing. And the word in Romanian for today is întrebări. 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 Well done, guys, you just said questions. Okay, so let's start off with the first question from Kitten. And Kitten was asking me, I know it's random, but do you play any video games, and what are your favorite TV shows or series? Okay, yes, I do play video games. My all-time favorite, I am a bit of an oldie, okay, so my all-time favorite is a strategy computer game called Caesar, and now I particularly play Caesar 4. I also like Age of Empires, again it's on the computer, and Heroes 3. That's my favorite, Heroes 3, because of the graphics. And some other games that I play on my phone are, of course, oh my god, Candy Crush Saga. I've been playing that for years. I can't even remember when I started playing it. And lately I've also been playing on my phone Fashion Designer and some house design game, just to, yeah. So yes, I do play video games, but honestly I get bored quite quickly of them. So if I play, let's say for example today, for 3 or 4 hours, then I'm not gonna play it again for about a week or two. Because the way that I am is, I like something and then I will do that thing, and then I will lose interest or perhaps get bored and then I have to change it before I go back to it again. But so far, the only thing that I'm consistent on is my true crime videos. That's something which I thoroughly enjoy doing and I don't get bored of it. So we are going to try today, I don't know what look we are going to try today, but okay, I need to put on my guides. Let's get to the next question. Angela was asking me, what kind of work do you do? Where did you learn to speak English? Well, I haven't been working for the last 7 years, almost 7 years. Before that, I used to work as a team leader in Tesco. If you're not from the UK, I'm not sure if you are aware, it's a, it's a retailer, kind of like Target in the US. So I used to be a team leader in Tesco, and I used to work for the online shopping department, so for grocery shopping. So basically when you place the order online, we would be the ones picking up the order for you from the shop floor. So I used to be a team leader to a team of around 100 pickers, and at times also on top of that 100 drivers. So the pickers, they would be picking shopping from the shop floor, the drivers, they would be delivering stuff, and I would be managing the teams. I was on a path to become a manager, but some really bad things have happened and I couldn't work anymore. I had an accident at work where I damaged my coccyx really badly, and I needed surgery, and right now I'm still suffering from pain with my coccyx because of that accident. And then I also got pregnant with my youngest, who is now almost 7 years old. So I didn't work because obviously I was a stay-at-home mom. And then I really wanted to get back to work after, after my youngest went to nursery. But sadly, I've had some really bad health issues, and I think it was around 4 years ago when I was diagnosed with cervical cancer. Luckily, it was stage 1 cancer, so it was detected quite early, but I needed to have a lot of surgeries in a 1 year period, so there was a lot of recovery time, because I had one surgery, then it was a couple of weeks recovery, then I needed to go back, and then again couple of weeks, so it kind of spread over the rest of the year. And it got to a point where I was physically tired to even think about getting back to work, and that affected really badly my mental health, mainly because when the doctor told me that I have cancer, literally, I'm not sure if you've ever experienced this, but when the doctor told me I had cancer, my whole life was flashing in front of my eyes. I'm not exaggerating, and I know that it sounds kind of cheesy, you know, and something which is not real, but I remember, even now, I remember that I went out of the doctor's office. My husband was not allowed to be in there with me because, you know, gynecological things. Gynecology? Yes. So he wasn't allowed in there with me, and also he was waiting for me in the car. When I got out of the doctor's office, I felt like I'm just floating. I couldn't believe the results that I got from the doctor, and then I went into the car, and I just looked at my husband, and he suddenly knew that something was not right. And then I told him, I remember what I told him was, I have cancer and I don't want to die. And then I started crying in the car, and he saw me and he started crying, but then on the other hand he also wanted to be supportive, and I could see that he's holding his tears in so he doesn't cry, so that he supports me instead. And in that moment when I was crying in the car, that's when my whole life flashed in front of my eyes. It was like a movie that I was watching, you know, like those pictures you see and they keep on jumping and jumping, like the old movies. I kept on seeing all these kind of scenes with my kids, with all of the good times that we've had, with my life, how it has been. And then the most scared, and then the scariest thing for me was thinking that what are my kids going to do without me if I'm going to die? And what is my husband going to do without me if I'm going to die? I was thinking that, you know, it's just going to be a burden for all of them, because they will have to deal with grieving. They will my husband will have to prepare for my funeral and all those kind of things. So I went straight to the thinking that how badly they are going to be affected by me dying. And then it seemed to me like in the last few years things have happened one after the other, so I really couldn't catch a break. And even now I still can't catch a break. It seems that whenever I think that something stopped and everything is fine, the next thing you know something else happens, and it's kind of like rolling and rolling. I don't know why it's happening, but it's been happening for the last few years, since after I had my youngest child, yes. And then I had another surgery, so I'm cancer free. I just want to say that I'm cancer free now. I've been cancer free for a couple of years. I do have yearly checkups where they are taking samples just to make sure that there is no cancer growing back. But some other things have happened again with my health, which I feel like I can't do it anymore. I've had another surgery. Well, this surgery was actually recommended to me by my GP because of all the treatments that I went through for my cervical cancer and all of the hormonal changes. I was really struggling to lose weight, or even if I did lose weight, I wouldn't be able to keep it off, so it would always come back. And so there was a point when the GP suggested, when my doctor suggested that maybe I should consider having weight loss surgery. So I said, okay, I'm going to give it a go, because again, after having survived cancer and quite honestly beating cancer in the ass, I said, okay, I just want to be alive, I just want to be healthy, and I want to be there for my kids for when they grow up. So I'm going to try to do everything that I can to stay healthy for the kids and for my husband as well, for all of them. And so I said, okay, let's just go forward with the surgery, with the weight loss surgery. It took almost 2 years for me to get from the point of my GP referring me for surgery to the point where I actually got the surgery. It was It was provided by the NHS. I didn't have to pay anything for the surgery. However, it was performed at a private hospital, but through the NHS. I didn't have to pay because they have this program where if you qualify for the surgery and you do all the things that you are required to do, you don't need to pay for the surgery if it's recommended by your GP and is going through the national health system. So I went through all of the steps that I needed. It was a lot of going back and forth with various appointments, dietitians, how do you call those, dietitians, and then physiotherapists and psychologists and all these kind of appointments. And then I finally got approved, so I got moved up the tier to the latest tier where I was approved for surgery, and I was over the moon. I said, oh my god, finally I will get my confidence back in my body, in myself, because I've always been overweight but never as high as I was before having the surgery. So when I was in school, I was always bullied for my weight. I can't say that I was fat, but I was a bit bigger than the rest of my class, and kids were bullying me all the time. And I grew up with that without even saying anything to anybody. So I grew up with that, and with very low self-esteem, very low confidence, and everything in between that comes from bullying in school. And so, you know, when I got the surgery, I saw the opportunity that, oh my god, everything is gonna be okay now. I'm going to love myself again, I'm going to be confident, and all those kind of things, you know. And okay, so I went to surgery. I had my surgery done 2 years ago. So my weight when I went for the surgery was 110 kilograms. And I was a size 24, UK 24. And that's when I had my surgery. I had a mini gastric bypass. Now the surgery was supposed to be a straightforward surgery, right? And I didn't really expect anything else out of it. I stayed overnight in the hospital after my surgery. Everything went well. And the doctor recommended that I walk as much as I possibly can, just to make sure that I release all the gases and these kind of things. And it was so I went for surgery on a Monday. I got released, I think it was on a Tuesday or Wednesday, I can't remember exactly. And then on a Saturday, the same week on Saturday, I decided to go for a walk outside with my husband and my youngest, because my oldest, she had a friend over. So I said, okay, I just want to go for a quick walk because I wasn't feeling quite well, but I said I need my walk. And half an hour later I started being in excruciating pain, and I didn't know how to place it. And I said, oh, maybe it's just, you know, until I get used. Maybe it's just, you know, because I'm so soon after surgery, and it's possibly some kind of I'm being tired or something like that. And I said, I thought to myself, oh, the pain is gonna pass. We got back home because I couldn't walk anymore, and after we got back home, the pain didn't stop. It just got worse and worse and worse, to the point where I started shaking, sweating, cold sweats. I couldn't even speak because of the pain. I was in horrendous pain, and I looked so bad that my husband said, that's it, you are going into sepsis. My husband, he used to work for A&E in the emergency room as a phlebotomist and healthcare assistant. So he kind of recognized the signs, and he's like, no, we can't wait any longer. You need to go to the hospital. We need to call an ambulance because you are going into sepsis and you will die. And he called the 999 line, asking for an ambulance to get over to our house. And whoever was on the phone took my details and everything else, and she wanted to speak to me as well. Because of the pain, I couldn't speak to her, and I just handed the phone back over to my husband. And my husband told her, look, I think she's going into sepsis. We need an ambulance here straight away. The lady on the phone told my husband that the minimum waiting time for an ambulance is about an hour and a half. So unless we can get somehow at the hospital rather than waiting for an ambulance, it's much better, because otherwise we have to wait an hour and a half. My husband was like, well, she can't wait an hour and a half, but he hung up the phone. We decided to take our car, and he told me that you can't wait an hour and a half longer because you won't make it an hour and a half longer. I was in sepsis. So we put the kids in the car and we went to the hospital, and I had another surgery. This was an emergency surgery. I spent 2 weeks in the hospital with this surgery, and because I spent those 2 weeks in the hospital laying on my back, only on my back, my coccyx pain triggered. My coccyx pain was triggered again because of the laying down in the hospital on my back all the time. So I spent in the hospital, when I was in the hospital, I spent 3 days, I believe, I'm not entirely sure, in ICU, in the intensive care unit. I needed oxygen. I was constantly on morphine, and they were not able to get my oxygen levels up, so that's why I needed the oxygen mask on. And I also got an infection whilst I was in the hospital. I got a chest infection, so they had to treat me for that infection as well. And yeah, it turned out that I actually went into sepsis, and the doctors told me at the hospital, especially the surgeon who performed my life-saving surgery, she said that if my husband wouldn't have taken me to the hospital, I would have died. So that was a really good call for my husband to do that. But the thing is that it was just horrible, and I was discharged from the hospital after 2 weeks. I could barely walk. I mean, I spent those 2 weeks, you know, in the laying down. It was I had a major surgery. It was an open surgery, and I had 33 staples all across my abdomen from that surgery. So it was a very long recovery time for me ahead, and I got home after 2 weeks, and then after a week of being home, I had another horrendous event, which I can't really talk about because of legal reasons. I'm still going through that now, and yeah, so that's why I'm saying it's one after another. And because of the horrific event that happened after I got released from the surgery, I developed depression, anxiety, PTSD from the surgery, and I also have food aversion disorder, and I also have panic attacks. So I've been in therapy, and the therapist told me because of the event that happened after I got released from the hospital, it triggered all of the trauma from the previous years, including the trauma from my abusive relationships, which I had more than 15 years ago. One was my ex-husband, and then the other one was my first ever serious relationship. I forgot about everything, but when that event happened after my surgery, everything got triggered, and you know how bad? All at once came. That's when I started showing signs of PTSD, but the PTSD signs were not only from the surgery, but also from my domestic abusive relationships from the past. So for example, from my surgery, I can't even touch my abdomen. I can't touch it. I haven't washed it in almost 2 years because I just can't touch it. I cannot touch it. It gives me flashbacks, it gives me panic attacks, and there are so many other things, loud noises, like people arguing outside, and just on the street. I run inside the house and I lock myself in. And even there was a point where I was just sitting on the sofa. This is just an example. I was just sitting on the sofa, and I have this really tall and large plant behind me. And as I was sitting on the sofa, a dry leaf fell off the plant, and fell on my back. And I just ducked. I ducked for cover. It was just a dry leaf. I've never had these issues before, but since that thing happened to me, after the surgery, everything came back flooding, and I'm still struggling with everything as it is now. So basically that's the reason why I don't work right now. I would love to get back into work. My problem is that I don't think I will be able to do what I did previously, because I can't be around people. People really scare me, and I can be only around people that I know and I'm comfortable with, but strangers, especially men, I feel very uncomfortable around. I feel very uncomfortable in open spaces where there are people around, or even if I would be on my own outside, I I have anxiety. I feel very scared to be outside. The safest place for me is inside my house. This is where I feel the safest. Like nothing can hurt me, nothing can touch me, nothing can scare me. This is where I feel the safest. So that's why right now I can't go back to work. I would love to do that, but I can't do it. I can't do it right now. As for English, I learned to speak English. I started learning English in school. It was actually in primary school. I was in the 2nd grade when I started learning English, and then it progressed throughout up until I finished high school. When I started high school, I had a choice to carry on with the English or to start with French. I didn't really want to go with French, so I carried on with English. And apart from school, I also learned English from, I used to watch a lot of movies back home when I was in Romania, and I would have these subtitles on, English subtitles, and I would always pay attention to the subtitles, and that's how I improved my English. On top of that, my teacher, I have to say, my teacher back home in Romania, she was an example, seriously. We were learning, in fact, American English in school, not British English. But she was so fascinated by British English that she would come every year when it was the summer holidays, out of her own pocket. She would visit London and she would buy books for us to take back to school so that we can learn British English rather than American English as it was in the curriculum. We were still learning the American English, but we also learned British English at the same time. Okay. I think that I'm talking too much. I don't even know how long it's been, but I'm also keeping myself distracted at the same time because my husband, he had to go to the emergency department because of a horrible headache that he's got, well, a cluster headache, and he's been having it for the last 3 weeks now and he can't seem to get rid of it. So the doctor said that he should go to the hospital, to A&E, just to make sure that they rule out meningitis. So me doing this video now is kind of me keeping myself distracted. Okay, another question is, where do you get your ideas for makeup? Usually I get my ideas for makeup from Pinterest. I scroll on Pinterest a lot of the times. Then I also go on Google Images and I have a look, like, you know, some makeup ideas and stuff like that. Sometimes, like I'm doing now, I'm just improvising as I go in the video, or sometimes before I start recording a video, I'm just like looking at my eyeshadows and my palettes and everything, and I decide on a color combination before I hit record. So that's basically how I get inspired. If I'm honest with you, I never liked makeup and I never liked to wear makeup. I always like to, I don't know, be as natural as I want or whatever. I didn't really care what other people were thinking if I have makeup on or I don't have makeup on. I was just like, whatever, you know, I'm just gonna go somewhere and be as comfortable as I can. I don't need mascara on, I don't need lipstick on, nothing like that. As I wake up, I just wash my face, brush my teeth, and that's how you see me the whole day. In general, I do not wear makeup now at all. Wherever I go, apart from when I do these videos, otherwise I don't wear makeup at all. So it's very interesting for me that I have started doing this kind of videos with me doing my makeup, because I don't generally wear makeup and I never liked wearing makeup or spending loads of time doing my makeup. So yeah, it's kind of interesting, but for me, this is therapy. I have to be honest with you, this is therapy, this is my therapy. You see, when I don't have a script for my videos, I can go on and on and on for hours. I'm hoping I'm not gonna make this so long, but I have a feeling it's gonna be really long, this video. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, well, I think we are ready to move on to the next question from Laren. Hey Kat, love the eyeshadow. What do you find interesting about true crime? What I find interesting about true crime, I'm going to be honest with you, is that the more you research it and the more you listen to it, the more you read about it, the more you watch it, you learn a lot of things. And you start to see people differently, and you start to see red flags which you wouldn't have noticed before. And even though you don't have a degree in, let's say, criminal psychology or criminal profiling, I feel like with doing this for a very long time, you can teach yourself and you can learn by yourself without needing to study, because at one point when you keep on going with the true crime in general, you start to read people differently and you kind of start to predict what is the result of a certain crime that has happened, right? And what I find the most interesting is that, especially murderers, is that we as people, we as humans, we have such a different way of thinking. For example, me, when I talk about the true crime case, I could never imagine in my life that I would be capable of doing something like this. And I always think to myself, and I ask myself, how can you as a human being do something like this that you have been doing or that you went to prison for? This is something which I find interesting. It's gobsmacking, because we are human beings and we kind of think that we know each other, right? But in the end, no. It seems that you don't know anyone, any other human being, and I don't even think you know yourself deeply. Like, seriously, this is what the conclusion I got to. Another question from you is, what is it that you love most about makeup? The most that I love about makeup is the way it makes me feel when after I finish my makeup look, when I look in the mirror, it's like I see a different person. It gives me more confidence. It's like I see myself beautiful, whereas without makeup I'm just kind of boring. This is my opinion of me, but this could be because of my previous experiences, my past experiences. So, but on the other hand, if you ask my husband really doesn't like me with makeup. He says, you know, you can do whatever you want, but I prefer you the way that you are without any makeup. He's always saying you don't need anything, you are beautiful as you are. But me, this is what I love most about makeup. It gives me confidence, it makes me feel, yeah, more, yes, it gives me confidence, it makes me feel more beautiful and interesting. And like I just mentioned, for now, at this point in my life, makeup for me is a therapy. So it makes me feel really good after I've done my makeup and whilst I'm doing my makeup as well. Although I'm not a very patient person in general, I found out that when I do my makeup, I have enough patience. I don't know. It's like it gives you a boost of confidence when you do your makeup. This is how I feel. And it goes the same way. I know this wasn't your question, but I feel the same way about my nails, for example. I'm not sure if you guys ever experience this. I do my own nails at home. I don't go to a nail salon. First of all, because I don't, like I said, I'm only comfortable in my own home. And I prefer to just do it myself rather than go somewhere else. Somewhere in public, somewhere outside, somewhere to have a chat with someone. I don't know, no, I can't do that. And then the second thing is I also save money by doing my own nails at home. But the way that this makes me feel, after I finish doing my nails, it makes me feel sexy. Does that make you feel sexy as well? I was even telling my husband, don't you think that my hands look sexier when I have my nails done? I don't know, it was just randomly popped up, but I was just looking at them one day and I was like, you know, I don't know, did you ever get that? The other question that you had was, what else do you like to do for fun, relaxation? Honestly, this is my fun and my relaxation. I don't really do anything else. I need something which keeps my mind off things that I have going on in my life, and I found that this, what I'm doing, true crime videos, are just about the only thing that gives me any kind of relaxation, any kind of keeping my mind off of things. So yeah, this is what I do for fun and relaxation. I can't even pronounce this properly. However, sometimes when I want to take a break, I usually do a bit of gardening if I can, but don't imagine that it's a lot of gardening. I have a couple of tomato plants in my garden, some cucumbers I'm growing and stuff like that, but nothing extreme. And that's basically my fun, if I'm honest with you. Honestly, I'm a boring person. Let's get on with the next question, and this question is from Lisa. Oh, I love your show. I want to know, do you ever go grocery shopping or something after all that makeup? Oh, Oh my god, yes, I did. I'm not doing it anymore. I did it, I think, twice or 3 times because I just forgot about my makeup being on, and my husband didn't really tell me anything either. So I had a really bold makeup on. I remember so well. I had under my eye here yellow, and then I had some blue and red or something like that. Yeah, very bright makeup. And I went shopping. Me and my husband, we went shopping to Tesco, and oh boy, people were looking at me like crazy. And then I saw myself in I don't know, it was a window or something. I can't even remember where I saw myself, and I'm like, oh my god, did I just get out of the house with this makeup on? I just realized in the middle of shopping that I went out with my makeup on. Then on top of that, in the same shop, as we finished shopping and we were queuing at the checkout, my mother-in-law called us on WhatsApp video call, and oh boy, and I was trying to tell my husband, please don't show my face to your mom because look at my makeup, what is she gonna think, that I've gone bonkers? But he did show my makeup to his mom, and I very quickly stepped back so I get out of frame. Yeah, so as for my makeup, was going shopping, yeah, I did get the side eye, but after that happened with my mother-in-law, I stopped doing that. Because my mother-in-law, she saw me and she was like, oh, that's a bright makeup. Yeah, I know. And the thing is that the makeup that you see in the video is not as in real life. It kind of is like in the videos you don't really see how bold and bright it is. It's much brighter and more colorful and kind of saturated in real life. In the videos, when I edit the videos, I need to really bring the saturation up so that you can see the color properly. But in real life it's much more colorful than it shows up on the screen. So yeah, you need to kind of, you know, think about that as well. It's very striking, yeah, I have to say so. Since that thing happened with my mother-in-law, I always make sure that I take my makeup off before I go anywhere. The only time when I keep my makeup on is when I know that my husband, he needs to come home from work and I want him to see me with my makeup on. And the only reason why I want him to see me with my makeup on is because I just love his reaction with my makeup on. It just makes my day, you know. He comes through the door, I'm in the kitchen usually because I'm having my coffee or I'm smoking a cigarette or something like that, and he comes in the kitchen and, hey, how are you? And suddenly I turn and he's like, oh my god. That's his reaction every single time, and I love his reaction so much that I always keep my makeup on until he gets home from work so that he can see my makeup. So yeah, apart from that, no, I'm not going anywhere with my makeup on. And I make sure that I don't forget. And thank you so much for the well-wishing. So now we have another question from Vera. I hope I'm pronouncing the name right. And let's see what the question is. Hi Kat, my question is, how did you get into true crime, and do you have a regular job other than YouTube? Okay, let's start with the first question. How did you get into true crime? Well, I got into true crime a few years ago. Mind you, before I started this channel I had another channel. I think that I started in 2020 on YouTube with true crime, and I first focused on the Madeleine McCann investigation. And the reason why I did that was because one day I just a news article popped up on my newsfeed on my phone, and as I was reading the news article I was like, no way, something doesn't smell right here. So I started looking into it, and the more I was looking into it, the more drawn into it I was. And then that's when I realized that I really love doing this. So I started with the Madeleine McCann investigation, and on my channel most of my videos were around the Madeleine McCann investigation. I went really deep into the research, and then at one point I said, you know what, I don't think that it's fair that I focus my attention only on the Madeleine McCann investigation. I really want to bring awareness to more cases. So then I started the second channel, and on that channel I kind of like, I still spoke about the Madeleine McCann and conspiracy theories and stuff like that, but I started speaking about cases in general. The problem with my second YouTube channel was that it was during COVID times, and I did a video where I was talking about COVID, and it was frowned upon on YouTube at the time, and so I got a strike on the channel and a warning, and I said I'm not going to post videos, or at least just keep the channel there but not keep it as my regular or main channel, because in case it gets shut off, in case it gets shut down by YouTube, then at least I'm not going to be wasting my time into research and everything and then to lose everything. And if I'm honest with you, I really wanted to get an income out of doing YouTube, because I love what I do, and of course it does cost a lot of money to keep on doing what I do. So yeah, I wanted to keep on doing it, but it wasn't so much about money. It was more because it made me feel good. I really enjoyed doing it, and I really enjoy doing it. But as it is right now, I'm hoping this would be a career opportunity, because, you know, let's be honest, everything costs money. My equipment costs money, my video editor costs money, my internet costs money, everything costs money. And I'm doing this because I love what I do, but also since I'm spending all of my time on doing these YouTube videos, I was hoping that maybe there will be a point when I would be able to get some kind of income out of it. And to answer your other question, do you have a regular job other than YouTube? I've explained previously in one of the other questions that I did have a job a long time ago, but sadly because of my health problems at the moment, no, I don't have another job. If the Q&A is more personal, what is your sign? I am a Leo. I was born on 30th of July 1987, so I am a Leo. How do you tackle married life? Well, I do my thing, my husband does my thing. That's how I tackle married life. When I started doing YouTube, it was just some random thing that I told my husband. I told him I'm just gonna start doing videos on YouTube about true crime cases, Madeleine McCann in particular at the time. And he's like, okay, fine. That's how I tackle married life. The thing is that I know what I enjoy doing. He knows what I enjoy doing. I know what he enjoys doing, and he knows what he enjoys doing. We both do our own things. However, we still have a relationship where we very much respect each other, and we respect each other's choices, and we don't cross lines, if you get what I mean. I mean, yes, I can be upset with him, yes, he can be upset with me. We usually talk about it. Before that, we used to argue quite a lot, and I always like to have the last word, and I would always start an argument, and I would pick on every single little thing just to pick on him and just have an argument. But we got to the point where we've been together for 15 years now, so we got to the point where we really know each other and we really know how we are like. So, you know, it kind of goes, just to put it this way, he's the quiet one and I am the psh one, so, you know, it goes together, we go together, yeah. But with us, it's always about respect for each other. It's always respect and communication. That's the most important. And when I say that I do my thing, he does his thing in the boundaries that we have, of course. No, yeah, just like a married couple. The one thing that we never do is go out, or before, without each other. We never went out without each other. If I wanted to go out, he would join me. If he wanted to go out, I would join him. And yeah, when you talk about events, about work and things, like, you know, a Christmas dinner with your colleagues from work, then yeah, we don't go with each other, or we didn't go with each other. But when it comes to going out, I never like going out alone, or say, for example, I'm going out with my friends and he's gonna be staying home. No, I never like doing that. And he's the same. He doesn't like going out with friends and leaving me behind at home. He feels bad, he feels guilty, and I feel the same, bad and guilty. So it's kind of like, you know, the mutual this is what we have. I don't know if it's something weird for other people, but this is how we are like. It's not because we don't trust each other, it's simply because we don't feel like, we don't feel right going somewhere without the other one, if you get what I mean. So yeah, like I said, I've been talking too much, yes, and I didn't finish my makeup, and I finished with the questions, with all of the questions that you guys had for me. So I don't even know what am I going to speak about. I don't know. What am I going to speak about? Because I don't want to bore anyone. So give me a second here. I'm trying to pick my brain, squeeze my brain. So yeah, since I didn't finish my makeup yet, there are a couple of things that I'm going to address because we don't have any questions anymore. There were a couple of comments that I've seen on my channel regarding my videos, and I'm going to address one. I'm going to address a couple of them. So the first one being, quite a few comments were said about how can I do true crime videos when I talk about victims and do my makeup at the same time. It's very disrespectful and things like that. And as I reply to my comments, and I reply to these comments as well, I'm going to repeat myself and I'm going to say it again. Yes, I accept that this is not everyone's cup of tea, and I appreciate that and I understand that. I'm not forcing anyone to watch. You are on YouTube, you know, you are watching these videos in your own time for free. Nobody's asking you to pay anything to watch the videos. Also, you have a lot of options on YouTube platform to watch any video you like. I'm not forcing you to watch my video if you don't like watching it. If this is not something that you want to see, then you know you don't need to watch it. Don't feel forced to watch it. I do this because for me, talking about before I started doing my makeup as well, I was talking about true crime. It was okay for me to just talk about true crime. In fact, I enjoyed that a lot. But after all of my health issues, in particular my mental health issues, I found that I can't sit still whilst I talk about a true crime case, as in reading on the screen in front of me, because I have a teleprompter and I have a clear screen in front of me and I'm reading from a script. I can't just sit and read and not fiddle with something. This is because of my anxiety, I think. And also, I usually speak very quickly. You might have noticed that I speak very quickly. And I find that when I do my makeup at the same time, I also don't speak as quickly as I do when I don't do my makeup, if you get what I mean. So, this is really why I am doing my makeup when I talk about true crime, because first of all it helps me to stop fiddling and be all over the place when I read off the script. Second of all, doing my makeup whilst talking about the true crime case helps me tremendously with my mental health. This is one thing that I enjoy doing now. Even though before I wasn't very much into makeup, now I really enjoy it because I like how it makes me feel in terms of my mental health. So again when I do my videos, I don't try to be disrespectful to anyone I talk about, and I always try the best that I can to treat every single case with respect. And I don't usually make jokes. I don't like making jokes. Yeah, sometimes I smile or I laugh, but I do that simply because what I'm talking about is very uncomfortable, and this is my reaction when I'm uncomfortable with something, but I have to say it anyway. I would kind of, you know, laugh it off or give you a smirk or something like that. But this is not out of disrespect. This is simply because this is how I deal with something that I am talking about. Talking about true crime in general is not easy. It's not an easy subject for anyone. Now, just imagine that you spend 3 days for a research into a video, and those 3 days are filled only with the most horrendous things. Of course that you're not gonna feel okay, right? Unless you find something to distract yourself. I am doing these videos because I really want to bring awareness to all of these victims, because I feel that in a lot of cases the victim's voice is not heard and there are so many cases which are not even covered in the media, and it's not fair, and that's the reason why I'm doing it. So yeah, I mean, it takes a toll on me if I let this affect me, but I don't really let this affect me because I enjoy what I do, and I know that I'm doing it with a purpose here, to bring awareness to victims, and this is my goal. That's why I'm trying to cover a lot of cases which people don't really hear about or know about. Then some other comments I'm receiving are, oh, you're copying Bailey Sarian word for word, or why do you have to copy, why don't you find something original, and stuff like that. I think that I've explained already so far in this video, but I'm going to add something else on here. It seems that on YouTube, at least, a lot of people enjoy watching true crime videos, and they enjoy watching us doing our makeup whilst talking about a true crime case, right? So if I look at my analytics for my YouTube channel, for example, 90% of my audience is women. So that makes me understand that women are interested in watching this kind of videos, right? Because 90% of them are watching, whereas the other 10% are men, only 10%. So I think that, I think personally, I don't know, you guys let me know how do you feel in the comments below, but I think personally why you guys as women watch true crime cases whilst we are doing our makeup is because it makes you feel better, in the sense that it makes you digest the true crime case more easily than if we wouldn't do our makeup. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, but this is how I feel, for example, when I watch Bailey Sarian. So I know that she talks about a true crime case and she's doing her makeup, and I find it very easy to kind of follow the case along while she's doing her makeup, because although I focus on how she's doing her makeup, I also listen to the true crime case, and it kind of makes it much more comfortable to listen to. And there are a lot of true crime cases which are very uncomfortable to listen to or to watch or whatever else, to listen to the details. But just imagine for a second, because this is what I usually say in my videos, if we as the audience feel uncomfortable hearing and listening to all of the details, how do you think that the victim felt in that particular moment? And I think that we owe it to all of the victims out there to at least sit down and listen to their story, and for us who are creating these videos to relate the story the best that we can, and with the utmost respect that we can show for the victims and for the families, and to do it our own way, the way that it makes us feel comfortable as well, because it's not a very comfortable thing to say on a video, this baby, she was only 8 months old and she was butchered by her mom. It's not comfortable to say, is it? But we do, at least I say it because it's not because I enjoy that the baby died and I'm trying to become famous on this true crime case. No, it's because I feel sorry for what happened to this baby, and at the same time I want people to know what happened to this baby, and I want this baby not to be forgotten. That's the main thing. And always when I read about cases involving children, it makes my skin crawl when I read about them. But on the other hand, I'm thinking, if I feel like this, how did that baby feel? I want to make sure that I bring this case to people, because I don't want this baby to be forgotten, for example. So yeah, this is why I'm doing it. This is why I'm doing it, and I'm not copying anyone. I am not attempting to copy anyone. The reason why I started this true crime and makeup channel is for my own therapy, and also, like I mentioned to you previously, I have seen that that 90% of my audience is women watching my videos, and also I've noticed a difference between true crime videos being watched and true crime and makeup videos being watched, and I didn't have as many views on my true crime videos as I do on my true crime and makeup videos, and I think that this is an opportunity which I should pursue to ensure that I get exposure to the videos for the sake of the victims as well. And of course, I'm not going to lie, for my own sake as well, for my mental health and also for financial reasons. So if you guys think that this is not something you like, or you think that perhaps I don't know, if you feel like you don't want to follow me because of this, then by all means, I'm not trying to force anyone to follow me and to watch my videos. I'm trying the best that I can, and whenever you guys point something out which is not okay in a video, I always try to correct it, or correct it for the future videos, or you know, change the style or whatever else. And as for my quick talking, again, I don't want you guys saying that I'm copying Bailey Sarian here, but I did, I was struggling with my speech when I was young. I can't remember, I think I was in primary school, and I don't know if it was speech therapy that I did, or I don't know if it's called that, but obviously it was a word in Romanian, logopedie, and I'm going to Google it and translate it here. It might have been speech therapy, I'm not sure, but it was because I was stuttering a lot when I was a kid and when I was speaking, and I think that they were trying to help me to stop the stutter. So it did help me a lot with the stuttering, but even now I still stutter in my videos, and I've noticed not only my videos but when I talk in general. And I noticed as well that I talk very quickly at the same time as well. Again, it's not something that I can control. However, when I do become aware of it, like when I talk, you know, and I become aware that I talk too quickly, I try to slow down. And also the truth is that I was always a fast talker, and I didn't really need to take a breath or anything like that to catch my breath. But I've noticed that after I had my second surgery, the life-saving surgery, probably because of the chest infection as well, I'm struggling to breathe sometimes. And when I speak, let's say for half an hour, when I talk for half an hour, I kind of need to take like a 5-minute break and kind of compose myself and be quiet, because I feel like I can't breathe anymore because of my chest, from my chest, and this has only been happening after the surgery, so I didn't have this issue before. And also when you see me in the videos, like when I'm doing this, or you know, all these sounds, is because, again, from my surgery, is because I feel pain in my chest when I talk, and I kind of need to, you know, have that quick break in between, so I don't even know how to explain it. It's very hard to explain, but I feel like a pressure in my chest, and I also have pain around my stomach area from talking for a long time. So I really need to catch my breaks of my breath somehow, and I make these noises kind of to like relieve some of that, like I do now. I have saliva coming up my throat because of the weight loss surgery that I had. So when I have saliva coming up my throat, I feel like the airways are kind of blocked, and I need to push that back. I'm so sorry guys if I'm explaining this and it sounds gross, but I'm trying to explain some of my behaviors in the videos. Maybe some of you might be asking why, you know. So I just want to make sure that I'm as transparent as I possibly can. Now the positive thing from the weight loss surgery is that I did lose a lot of weight in these 2 years, almost 2 years. It's gonna be 2 years in November. Now I am at 59-60 kilograms, down to size 10, 8-10, so that's great, but like I said, I will have long-lasting side effects from it, physically and also mentally. I don't know what I did with my makeup here. I have no idea. Guys. My head is not here really, because I'm still thinking about my husband and how he's at A&E. He did call me and he told me that they found a heart condition, that he's got a heart condition. We just can't catch a break, can we? Nope. There's no such thing as catching a break for us. He went in for a horrible cluster headache and now it turns out that he's got an ischemic heart problem. Yeah, that's what he's been told. And now he's waiting for a CT scan. So it's very great news. Great, great news. Oh, God. You can see how I didn't put my guide here straight. Why do I always struggle with the guide? Gosh. Oh yeah, then also I had a comment saying that they cannot understand what I'm saying, how I speak, the way that I speak. And yeah, I replied to that comment, but I'm just going to say it for other people in case, you know, they don't understand me or they can't understand me. The truth is, guys, that I'm doing my best to speak in English. Like all of you know, English is not my first language. I am bilingual, but of course that when I speak in the language which is not my language, I'm just not gonna speak the same as in my language. There will always be something and there will always be an accent there. And I try the best that I can. This is the best that I can do, honestly. So I don't know. The only thing I can say, if you can't understand what I'm talking about or the way that I talk or understand me, then you know, don't watch the videos, because what's the point of watching a video if you can't understand what the person is talking about, right? I'm not offended, I'm nothing like that. It just upsets me at times because so a lot of people don't appreciate and they don't realize that we speak a language we are not native in, and apart from the language that we speak, our own native language, we also know a second language or a third language as well. And it's impossible for us, at least for me, it's impossible for me to speak a foreign language to the same level that I speak my own language. I don't know if others are different, I don't know. But me, for one, I never even tried to learn an accent. I mean, to learn how to learn a proper accent in English, if you get what I mean. I was always thinking to myself, this is the way that I speak, this is the way that I can speak. What is the point for me to keep on trying and trying with an accent, and at the end it's just not gonna come out as it should, because this is not my first language. So it's impossible for me to sound like someone whose native language is English, and I will never be able to. I will never be able to pronounce words as an English person would. I would never be able to hide that I'm not English. So what's the point for me to even try when I know that it's not gonna happen? You know. Also, I would rather focus on me speaking correctly, grammatically correctly, than me having an accent and not speaking grammatically correctly, because that just annoys me really bad. Perhaps grammatically correct, not correctly. Yeah, it bugs me when I make mistakes, and yeah, that's that. Okay, ranting, it's always ranting, isn't it? So I wanted to do an eyeliner. Okay, I don't know if I can do it now. Let's just go a bit here. Do you guys do your makeup usually? Do you find doing makeup relaxing? Maybe I shouldn't have done that. No, I don't like it. I'm gonna remove it. This is what happens when I don't have a plan beforehand. Since we finished with our questions and the other comments that I wanted to address, I will see you when I'm done with my makeup, okay? And I finally finished with my makeup, and I just wanted to say thank you to all of you for supporting me on this YouTube journey, and thank you to all of you for helping me reach the 1K mark. And thank you so much for your questions. It was a great video to do, and maybe you've learned a bit more about me. So I don't know yet about the new target. Maybe when we reach 3,000 subscribers or 5,000 subscribers, we can do another Q&A video. I don't know, but for now, take care, stay safe, and I will see you in another one. Bye.